Peace, what's up, y'all? This is Common, and you are now checking out Hot New Hip Hop. Y'all stay in tune, all right?
What's up, everyone? This is Jen DeLeon with hotnewhiphop.com, and sitting right next to me is Common. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. How you doing, Jen?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
So, Nobody's Smiling comes in 3 weeks, correct?
Yeah.
So, what is the theme or concept you're going for in this album, and what can we expect the album to sound like as a whole?
Well, the sound of the album is definitely something that's new, really new and fresh for what I've done in music, because like I've had a tendency to make music that can either sound classic or futuristic, and I think this album is an album that, because of No I.D's production and the way I approached it as a writer, as an MC, it feels like relevant, but it doesn't feel like I've reached for anything. Like I didn't let me go try to be like the hot guy. It just was honestly coming from an inspired place, and it just was what we felt like doing musically, and it feels fresh and new. And the concept is deeper though. The concept is the actual premise of it, Nobody's Smiling, is really about giving back to people who are in the struggle. You know, and so in some points of the album, I definitely put myself in that situation and write from that perspective. I was thinking about, you know, what's going on in Chicago and what's happening in, you know, specifically Chicago, but all over in the country, you know, in the inner city. So that's what the album is about, and that's what the sound of the album is. Okay.
Well, moving away from the sound, you have a lot of different features, but more specifically, I want to touch on Vince Staples. So he's on there twice, and you said before that hearing him just made you want to write. So what else have you guys learned from each other in the process of working together?
Well, one thing I learned from him is like, I like that he write his rap right there. He can do that. And I come from the school of thought, like I go get the beat and I go ride it, and I go write my rap, you know, and then come back 2 days later or some days later. But he wrote his rap right there, and it's a spontaneity in that I like. He's not the first artist, obviously, that I seen do that, but that kind of did help me continue to get into that mindset of just being like, you inspired at the moment and just do your thing. But another thing I learned too was like, just because you are from, you can't make assumptions about an MC. He's from Long Beach, 20 years old. You can't assume that, you assume, oh man, well he grew up just listening to gangster rap. And that's not the case, you know, and I can't say to Snoop, I can almost say that he probably loves Snoop, but I don't think Snoop is his favorite rapper. Just because he's from Long Beach don't mean it, you know. And with that being said, you know, we all know Snoop is a legend, and I respect Snoop, and so does Vince Staples, but the point is you can't make assumptions, and that young artists do respect, you know, substance, creativity, culture, you know, it's not like, you know, people will put a judgment to a generation of artists and be like, well, it's all this, and this is what it is. It's no this and that in hip hop. Man, it exists. It's people that's rapping about their lives, people that's rapping about the streets, people that's rapping about girls, people, you know, rap offers a lot of things, and Vince Staples is a testament to the diversity in hip hop.
That's awesome to hear, especially because he is so young and it's cool to hear that he has that kind of influence on someone who's been in the rap game.
Let me tell you this. Every one of my friends who grew up listening to hip hop, when they heard Vince Staples, was like, who is that?
Yeah.
Dude is cold. So but that's why the thing I love about having Vince on the song, it's another testament to, like, music is not really age driven. Meaning, I mean, it's, you know, obviously some teenagers might relate to some teenage songs.
Yeah.
But, you know, Vince is 20 years old, he relating to guys that's 40 and 41. Man, I'm 42, relating to people that may be 17 years old. Like, you can't, like, you know, I mean, at a certain point, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I want this album to do. Like, I want it to not have, like, boundaries and be like, you know, like, Like, music is universal. That's all I'm saying, really.
Okay. So also on the album, you have a lot of Chicago artists on there. So looking at the music scene, how is it similar or different from when you first started music in Chicago?
Oh man, it was definitely different because when we first started in Chicago, we were like not on the map as far as music was considered. Like, you had New York, you had LA. I don't even know if the South really had come up yet, but I mean, you had the Ghetto Boys, and I think, you had UGK by then, but at the end of the day, the South hadn't even like really formulated all the way. Outkast came in '94. Like now, Chicago the spotlight's been on it. You had tremendous artists come from Chicago, like Kanye, Lupe, myself. I was trying to stay humble, but myself.
I got you.
and then Twista and different artists that have made impacts. And the Chicago sound it's a Chicago sound out there right now, and it's still diversity because you got Dirt, you got Bibby, you got Lil Herb, you got Dreezy, you got G Count, you got King Louis, you got Chance the Rapper, you got Vic Mensa. So it's a diversity in Chicago that always was there. Now that was always there, the diversity, but now you got people really paying attention, and the Chicago scene is prominent.
Okay. Lastly, speaking on that with the Chicago artists, so the Chicago drill scene, and it's all about violence. You're not necessarily the drill scene rapper, but you do work with these artists. So what message do you have for these younger artists, or what do you try to teach them when you're working with them in the studio?
Well, I mean, I think some of the best ways to teach people is to show by example. So I don't really like sit there and be like, you should do this, you should do that.
Lecture them.
Yeah, because I'm learning from them too. Like, I'm learning why they feel the way they feel, and learning that it's just not one dimension. Just because they might do drill music don't mean that they don't listen to Sade.
And that goes back to the whole making judgments or assumptions off of that.
Yeah, so I don't really end up judging them when I have conversations with. And I also don't act like they all the same. Like Little Bibby's different from Lil Durk. Durk may be different from Chief Keef. Chief Keef may be different from Lil Herb. So I just take the individual for who they are. I do my best to represent myself as a child of God, as a black man, as a Chicagoan, as a hip hop artist, as a father. Just be me, really. And I encourage them. Like, I want to support them more than anything. That's my thing. Like, let me support, and by example, they'll see what it is. Certain things, we all want to live a good life, man.
Yeah.
So I don't think nobody want to stay around getting shot at and be up in that life. So I think that just by them making music is a testament that they want something more for their lives. So I just support them.
So thank you for your time, and looking forward to the album.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Oh, no doubt, OVO, all day. OVO, P&D, P-Ray, OB, you know what I mean? Just taking over, straight takeover. TDE might give him a little competition.
I gotta give it to Black Hippie, man. You got Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, Al.
And the way I would need to write to it, I had to keep restarting it, so I had to basically go somewhere else, because he couldn't write to it the way I needed to write to it. So yeah, the only place that was quiet, I would go in the bathroom and have him email me the beat, and I just pull it up on my phone and listen to it on my phone and write to it.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken,
as far as all these mixtapes and all this random songs popping up, it's really just to get something official. Mad 20 and Booming is gonna be a movie. I feel like 19 and Booming.